All right. So, came across this video on YouTube. It says Chris Chan's charges and court date. Media reacts to CWC's weirdness. What is CWC? Is that Chris Chan? I don't know. We'll find out, I suppose. I honestly tried to look it up myself, and I couldn't find anything. So this guy is apparently like a super... See, this guy's Batman or something. But let's get into this, and let's give it a listen.
Someone stole Chris Chan's license plate. You're really cool. Thanks, guys. This video was posted to Twitter a couple days ago, and yeah, it does look like someone has stolen the front and the back license plate from Chris's car. Chris's license plate, of course, very famously said the word Asanichu on it, so they're going to be very...
Is that a word?
Recognizable.
I wouldn't call that a word,
You can't exactly
no.
sell it now, can you? Obviously, the monetary value
Probably
of the
can.
license plates isn't very high, but it's such a dumb crime, and I really hope that the motel has cameras on the outside. On top of Grand Theft Auto plates, we have an update on Chris Chan's charges. This
is one of those things that like kind of bothers me because it's like so dumb. Like, this is such a serious thing, and there's a lot of people who are like, this is a really serious situation, and you have people fucking around and memeing and like stealing license plates and like yelling and being like, "Oh, Chris Chan, you're innocent," like in the parking lot. And it's like, dude, you guys are diminishing this situation so much. It's embarrassing. Like, you should feel embarrassed for yourselves. It's pathetic. You know, this is a really serious situation.
Has been officially charged with incest and so far nothing else. That doesn't mean that he can't be charged with anything else. It's just that we're assuming that Barb's examination hasn't come back yet. Chris's preliminary trial has been set for September 16th.
Well, if that's what it is, the examination, like, considering she has dementia, it may not be like an active resist. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming they can tell the difference between like forced and resisted, like forced and like, I guess, I don't know, non-forced would be it. But if they have dementia, then I imagine there could potentially not be any force.
And he has been denied bond, meaning that he'll be in jail until then, which is about a month and a half from now.
Good.
So now we're going to take a look at how the media has been covering Chris's arrest. And we're going to start with the best article on this subject. This comes from the Daily Progress, which is a local newspaper from the Charlottesville area.
Okay.
Their reporter was actually in the room when Chris was being denied bond by the judge.
Oh, wow.
Fun fact, before we get into this, Chris didn't meet his lawyer until the morning of Thursday, which was this morning. Meaning that Chris probably was blabbing his mouth away the entire time between when he was arrested until he met his lawyer.
Yeah,
and
possibly.
I just personally can't wait to see how he may have self-incriminated himself.
Well, I'm actually more worried. I'm not super educated on the law, but my fear, though, is that if they did have the opportunity to constantly just, like, blabber on, like, is that admissible in court? Can you use that? Is that a problem since they didn't get a lawyer to them fast enough? Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like it would be. I feel like there's an argument there that a lawyer could make to get Chris off of that.
It's fantastic.
Christine, whatever.
Humanized a word. Anyway, one very common thing among all of these articles is that they refer to Chris as female. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
I wish that I had been able to remake my video about how I deal with Chris's gender pronouns before all of this happened, but I wasn't. So now, of course, my old video, which I no longer agree with, is getting tons and tons of views. I don't think that there's many people who have not heard the arguments one way or the other.
I feel like it's almost like a distraction. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I think that you should validate them as trans or whatever. You know? But it's like, it's one of those things where I've been listening to this video and he keeps saying he, and I'm just not, I don't care. You know? Like, it's not really the argument to have. It makes sense for context to bring up that they gender them as she. But like outside of that, like who really gives a fuck? Like right now, the focus, this isn't really the fight to have. The focus is like, what did they do wrong, and et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, instead of bitching and moaning both ways, both sides, like, oh, you should validate, oh, you shouldn't validate, just shut the fuck up and focus on like what's actually important in this situation. That's my advice.
For how we should address Chris Chan. So I don't really think it's a big deal. I just want to reiterate that I think that using female pronouns for him is dumb. With that said, his name technically is Christine, like legally.
Yeah, so just use
Although
Christine.
He doesn't care if you call him Chris, so I just call him Chris for simplicity's sake.
Christine,
anyway,
there you go. If you don't want to validate someone's like pronouns, just say their name. Who gives a shit?
Charged with incest is denied bond. A Greene County woman who was charged last weekend in connection to a sex crime against a family member was ordered held without bond Thursday. Christine Weston Chandler, 39, of Ruckersville was arrested by Henrico County Police on Sunday according to a news release from the Greene County Sheriff's Office. She was charged with incest, a Class 5 felony that can carry a term of imprisonment of 1 to 10 years and a fine of up to $2,500. I actually did not know about that fine part. That's great. Because Chris totally has the money. He gets it from taxpayers. Which means we're paying for this.
I mean, listen, you know, here's the thing. I'm assuming that he's this person is saying that Christine or whatever is on has some kind of a welfare program. Like, they probably need it. I think that one of the failures of the situation is that, like, Christine doesn't have more like watch. They should be in a group home, like 100% supervised. This person clearly is not the person. This person needs to get removed from social media and left in a group home that where like everything is monitored, because they don't have the ability to make their own decisions and choices.
Chris was assigned an attorney in Charlottesville by the name of David Hellberg. Chris was also moved to the Greene County Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court for his bond proceedings, and he asked to be referred to by female pronouns. There's been an image circulating that his official mugshot and arrest record was changed to having his gender be male. I've not been able to verify this, but it's currently up in the air one way or the other how he'll actually be charged. Greene Commonwealth's attorney Edwin Consalvo.
You know, I wanted to bring this up for context, and this is a speculation that actually a follower of mine told me a while ago, and this is something that I think is important. So we've been talking about the audio tapes a lot. And I made this argument that I was like, one thing that really worries me is the very encouraging language the person was using. That was like, people are saying, well, they were just trying to set Christine up or whatever. The problem is that they were very clearly friendly as you looked through it. And the language was super affirming. If you're trying to figure out like what Chris Chan did, you wouldn't use positive affirming language or positive affirming tone to your voice. Of like, oh, you slept with your mother? How was that? Was it good? Oh, it's such a good thing that you have such a like a loving bond. That's not the kind of language you use. People are like, well, she was just trying to catch the Chris. It's like, okay, well, you can do other ways. You don't have to be so positively affirming. And the reason that scares me is because they were very clearly close, which means they probably talked often. And if we have a pattern of affirming language on inappropriate behaviors, we're going to see more inappropriate behaviors feel justifiable. And that's one of the things that bothers me. But somebody had actually said this, and this isn't proven, but what they actually had said was that the person was intentionally trying to egg Chris on. Apparently, the allegations that they were sending Chris like CP and whatnot, or like lolicon porn, to try to like egg it on to break the internet with like a news story. That's a speculation that's been had, and I wouldn't doubt it. But that's what one of my followers had told me, but I can't confirm that.
Asked the judge to continue to hold Chris.
And this is somebody said, like, can't you make the argument that without the troll being affirming, we wouldn't know about the situation? Don't know if I agree with that. But it's an argument. But again, I'm talking about a pattern of the behavior. A reasonable assumption is that there's a pattern of behavior of affirming inappropriate language. That's a really big problem. It's probably not a one-off scenario, and you don't have to be super positively affirming. All we needed was like, oh, Chris, so what's going on with your mother? Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's going on? Oh, you're sleeping with your mother? Oh, what happened in this? Oh, or oh, tell me about this. But not like the super affirming language. That's where it gets scary. And like the speculation from me is that there's a pattern of this. And like then there's the allegations I just told you where the person was allegedly setting them up to break the internet, which means that they may have been coercing Chris into doing inappropriate things with their mother by sending, oh, it was like incest porn as well. So like, there's a lot here. I know it's a lot of speculation, but like considering the internet has been broken, you're seeing like actual commentators like Blair White and like Matt Walsh comment on this. It is breaking the internet by all accounts.
Without bond, because he is, quote, concerned about the community's safety and Mrs. Chandler's safety. Okay, here's where the article starts describing Chris. Also known as Chris Chan, Chandler has been the subject of obsessive internet vitriol and trolling for more than a decade following the creation of her Sonichu character and webcomic.
It's true.
She is also a blogger and YouTuber who has roughly 60,000 followers on Twitter. She was known as Kristen Chandler prior to publicly identifying herself as a woman several years ago. It's a very fair portrayal of facts. I'm liking this reporting so far. Consalvo said it's clear that people sought out where Chandler was staying at a hotel in Henrico and videotaped her arrest. So the guy is saying that we should hold Chris without bond for his own safety, and then he's mentioning how a bunch of people came and sought out where his motel was and was actually there to videotape the arrest. And Chandler interrupted the proceedings, loudly saying, "I'm famous on the internet," before Helberg told her not to speak until spoken to by the court.
Jesus Christ.
So great. So good. Chandler was sworn in to summarize a plan she had for bond, but didn't appear to address that, and instead asked the court to allow her to go pick up personal possessions, and said she would be, quote, "willing to proceed with everything if I can get that done." A lot of people are making jokes that Chris wants his Lego and Transformer toys. I personally think he probably just wants crystals. "I can't drink out of this solo cup. I need my crystal-infused glass."
Is that a real thing?
Moretto told Chandler that there are two things to consider when deciding bond: whether a defendant is likely to appear at trial, and if the defendant constitutes an unreasonable danger to himself, his family, or his community.
No.
Chandler again interrupted the judge, saying, "She." The judge said he was reading from the state statute itself. So the state statute says he in reference to all people instead of just saying they.
Oh,
Chris
okay.
corrected the judge after being told to stay quiet. Barretto
Well,
said
but to me, that like really just suggests that Christine, whatever, has a fucking like an issue. She has like autism or something that just unable to comprehend what's going on, like
the
fully.
nature of the alleged offense, and that there appears to be a personal danger to the defendant and to the public at large.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
remanded her held without bond until the next court hearing, which is on September 16th. Helberg told the court he would be asking for evaluations of Chandler,
Yeah,
who
good.
interrupted by stomping her feet and saying loudly that she needed, quote, "to get everything back home." She then said loudly, "I won't feel safe proceeding until she gets the items back." So, like, it's very possible that Chris actually said what he wanted. Like, "I need my markers so I can chronicle Sonichu." It's just that the author of this article probably doesn't know what all of that is, or doesn't want to explain it to the public, so they're just saying the items.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've been informed that you're not allowed to record anything in court in this county. No audio, no video recording. They actually take away people's cell phones, meaning all we're ever going to get about these trials is people writing down what's happening. Mostly it's going to be journalists. So there's going to be a lot of context missing. With that said, I love the fact that Chris stamped his feet in anger, because that's exactly what Chris would do. Imagine a normal person reading this. Can't.
This is like the most normal person I've ever seen talk about Chris Chan. Like, they seem to be pretty up to date on the fucking what do they call it? Christory, the Christory, whatever, Chris Chan history. That's very interesting.
The investigation is ongoing and additional charges are pending. According to the Greene County Sheriff's Office, anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's investigator, Jason Tooley. I do legitimately recommend that anybody with serious information do call this number. There's no reason to, like, hide it. If trolls want to troll it, then they're going to. But there are probably people out there who have more information who should contact the sheriff. And so here's the number. So
I feel bad for the person that answers those a fucking phone, man. That's going to be a shit show. Because it's going to be like 95% trolls. Which is like so... Which again, like, you know it's going to happen. You know, there's going to be a bunch of trolls calling the number for more information. They'll be like, "Oh my god, Chris put pickles in his ass," or something stupid. It's going to be fucking stupid. Gibby is a genuine Christorian, very clearly. But that's like really, that's one of those situations. That's one of the things is like, you know, there's people who take this really seriously, and then the trolls don't. They just think that this is another funny haha like Chris Chan moment. And if Chris Chan gets off with this, and they treat it like just another meme moment, that diminishes the situation, and it signals to Chris Chan that it wasn't that big of a deal. Because I would assume that Chris Chan is like within the community, their own community, they're getting trolled. Like, probably the overwhelming majority of people in the community are probably just trolls. And so if they get off on it, this is one of the problems with people getting off with like really inappropriate behavior. They get off on it, they're empowered to do it again because they got away with it. And then it's the seriousness is diminished by the community of trolls that are just like, oh, just another funny meme. Remember when you stuck things up your ass or cut a clit into your taint? You know, like, haha, this is another one of those. It's like, Jesus Christ.
That's the main crux of the story. That's most of the updates for today. But I did want to go over how the rest of the media was reporting on Chris, because it sucks. They all suck.
I agree.
So we're going to start with the New York Post. Vlogger Chris Chan arrested for alleged incest with mom suffering from dementia. Calling Chris Chan a vlogger hurts my soul. Like, just, he's a comic book writer. Say that he's a comic book writer.
I think that's hurts my soul,
There's
too.
Also a little video here,
it's more of just a fucking... Honestly, I think that, like, what it should be is, like create, like, influencer with autism or something. Like,
blurred Barb's face. She's the victim.
Because it's always hard to find in these articles that this person has suffering from something, you know?
Also, it says that Chris allegedly committed incest, but it doesn't say that Barb might be suffering from dementia. It just says that she is, which we don't know.
Oh, really?
39-year-old.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So we don't even know if Barbara has dementia for sure. Why the fuck am I calling them Barbara? This is getting weirdly personal. Anyway, we don't even know if that's a fact.
Who is also known online as Sonichu, already faces up to 12 years in prison if convicted of the single count of incest. There's so much wrong there. First of all, this definitely conflicts with the 1 to 10 years that all the other sources are saying. But no, Chris is not known online as Sonichu. Chris is a Sonichu.
This guy really is a Christorian, huh?
Sonichu, but he's not Sonichu Prime. These people don't even know Sonichu Prime.
Oh my
I really
god.
cannot imagine the people who have to cover this right now. The article has all the best quotes, like when Chris was getting arrested. I am Chris Chan Sonichu, your goddess Blueheart, and I continue to stand strong, and I maintain everything with Quickville and my Sonichu Rose June everybody. She shouted of her cartoon creations.
That's the name of it? Quickville? CWCVIL. That's so weird. Oh my god.
I saw a bunch of tweets about people who were like, oh, it sucks so much having to explain Chris Chan to my parents. Obviously, that's something I had to do a long time ago. So
I'm really never gonna do that.
Story about
this is the true Christorian.
It or just like a normie seeing a story like this and what their reaction to it is, because I'm too close to this. Everyone in my immediate family circle of life knows who Chris Chan is.
Why?
So I really want to hear a story about somebody who's just discovering this now.
That's me. I'm just discovering this now, and it's fucking overwhelming, bro.
Because I have not heard any of those.
It's so funny because maybe 2 weeks ago, people were like, Papa Gut, you should really educate yourself on Chris Chan. I'm like, why? Like, this looks like a horrible thing to educate myself on. And here we are. Just getting fucking thrown into the mix, bro. I would love to sit down with this guy and just communicate my experience of just learning who Chris Chan is over the past, like, 4 days. That would be definitely interesting.
The Insider article on Chris Chan also calls him Sonichu, but then the majority of it is about the kiwi farms. So that's...
What the fuck is that?
Right, this is from the U.S. Sun. Inside warped world of Chris Chan, who thinks she's a goddess, as comic creator arrested for incest after house fire. The house fire was like a decade ago, peeps. Has a picture of the Sonichu cover, yes. She created the Sonico comic book series. Sonico? It says it multiple times. Sonichu.
I don't know what the fuck that
I wonder if
says.
this is the only time that they did the, Yeah, wait, hold on.
It says credit Amazon. What? Amazon? What, like the website Amazon?
Yeah, this is just a single typo. That's so stupid. No, it's here again. What? It is named after her initials.
Oh, so apparently an actual lawyer said a minimum 1 year for the sex with mom's charge. Barb would need to file a charge for sexual assault, otherwise it would be dropped, unless Barb can be proven to be mentally unstable enough. Very interesting.
The character Sonico, which appears to be a crossover between Pokemon and Sonic the Hedgehog. No, it's Pikachu. The series' main character is modeled on Chan, standing her ground against witches, evil cops, and internet trolls. I hate how many sources are referring to Chris as Chan. It's like they probably think Chan is actually his last name. Philip DeFranco did this throughout his entire video, and it was infuriating.
I just assumed it was like Chris Chan. It was like this. I honestly always assumed that Chris Chan is just like a fucking 4chan like social experiment. Like as if the fucking most toxic part of the internet raised a person, that would be what Chris Chan is. That's what it meant to me.
And after Chan got noticed online, Chan ended up becoming trending.
Oh, I see. Chan. Like, they're just calling it Chan. This is... Oh, my God. It's Chris Chan. Okay, I see what he's saying now.
Someone that was in contact with Chan, a fan turned friend, they revealed that Chan had allegedly engaged in incest. Apparently, Chan has been living with, conducting a welfare check on Chan and Barbara's home.
It makes sense for Philip DeFranco to say Chan. One, because he probably doesn't have, like, understand what's going on like that. Not that I fucking do. But then also because, like, what are they, if they you know, this way they don't have to say Chris, you know, or Christine. I guess it's just like, it's more neutral.
Emergency protection order banning Chan from seeing or contacting her mother. Barbara was moved to a hospital while Chan had been forced to stay at a hotel in Richmond, and then
if they charge CWC as a female, doesn't Virginia only have laws on the books for males to female interaction? I have no idea. I really don't know.
Sunday, Chan was arrested. It's also with this possible that Chan will face sexual assault charges.
I could see why this is.
I've never heard of this website. MEAWW. Meow. Okay. Is Chris Chan a trans woman? Sonichu creator changed gender to seduce lesbian, emails suggest. So this isn't just like an old article about Chris. This was published on August 2nd, so after the arrest.
The fuck?
Chris Chan told Jackie, a confidant, via email about fantasies involving fitting in at a lesbian bar, and also began using women's restrooms. A heated debate started on Twitter following Chris Chan's arrest after the Sonichu comic creator was accused of sexually assaulting her 80-year-old mother, Barbara Ann Weston, who suffers from dementia. Many in the transgender community refuse to acknowledge the fact that Chan, whose full name is Christine Weston Chris Chandler, identifies as a trans woman.
Who cares,
Some
really?
have refused to even use the pronoun she for Chris, after old emails suggested that the YouTuber only wanted to change her gender to score with lesbians. That is one major factor. There's just a bunch of tweets. This tweet is beautiful. Calling Chris Chan, a man who mutilated his body with a box cutter because 4chan said he was a girl, holds a deep hatred for men and most women, decided to be a girl so he could hook up with lesbians, and now abuses his mom, she, is disrespectful and delegitimizes trans people.
I don't know, man. On that perspective, like, I feel like people are really kind of foregoing this really big factor that somebody with a normal, like, brain wouldn't cut their fucking taint with a knife. You know? And so, like, I doubt, I mean, maybe it's because of, like, the autism or whatever, but I very highly doubt that there's not something there. Like, to me, and maybe this is just an inaccurate assignment, but, like, generally speaking, I would say if somebody had so much dysphoria that they would cut their own body to try to make themselves a vagina, they probably have gender dysphoria, man. Like, I wouldn't doubt it, or something. That's why I wouldn't invalidate it. But I also feel like, who cares? Like, this is so kind of irrelevant. This is, like, so far from, like, what matters in this case, you know? I don't give a shit.
Brother. Remember when Chris decided he wanted to listen to meditation music because he thought it would actually grow him a vagina? The Newsweek article mentions Clyde Cash and Jack Thaddeus. This is the best timeline. Who is Chris Chan? Everything we know about Sonichu creator. I doubt that. Oh man, they know what her Twitter bio says. That must mean they know everything. This is literally like 2 pages of text.
I feel like that's what I looked at before I went into the allegations to give myself like a quick wrap up, and
this is a joke.
And it's not the only. There's so much there.
HITC.com. Okay, so Yahoo News is actually giving background, saying in 2000 she created Sonichu for a high school project, a cross between the Pokemon Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonichu has become Chandler's most long-lasting creation. False. Bionic was first. He's a basketball playing Sonic, with her making over a dozen comics that she's posted online. For a majority of her time online, Chandler wore a Sonichu medallion around her neck at all times.
Didn't they send that to somebody and then that person like destroyed it in pickle juice or something?
True. He's talking about Mary Lee Walsh and Chris getting banned from his college.
I'm so uneducated on this.
Love Quest. This is a good article. This person did their research. Yahoo News is featuring Chris's Crizel, Magichan, and Chris Chan's Sonichu amiibo. Dimensional merge, yes. Over the past 3 years, Chandler has continued pushing the idea of the dimensional merge on her social media. In November 2020, Chandler posted a video on her Quickville Guardian YouTube channel saying that portals have begun appearing between worlds, causing dimensions to collide. She states that the pandemic and natural disasters are a sign that all life on Earth will be extinguished when the dimension of Sonichu characters collides into our reality. 3 cheers for Yahoo. That was a good one.
Yeah, honestly, like this seems like brain rotting lore. Like, would you really want to educate yourself on the depths of fucking Chris Chan lore? It's crazy.
Well, that was a fun romp down the failures of our journalistic institutions. Except for a couple of them. A couple of them did real good. Looking at you, Yahoo. So what does this mean? This means that Chris is going to have a trial. There's going to be information that comes out, like, probably very slowly for the next month. And I'm still going to be covering it. People who are hoping for, like, video of the courtroom, not happening. I'm guessing the next big story is going to be whatever comes out of the investigation into Barb, whether or not, like, she's okay. But until then, I cannot see there being any big developments. So it looks like we have our date, September 16th. Again, I'll probably make more Chris Chan videos between now and then with small updates. I still plan on doing historical Chris content.
Oh my god.
Hopefully within a couple weeks. Maybe I'll let some time pass before I go back to making a girl who brought down the world videos. Just doesn't seem appropriate.
Oh, this is the video you guys keep sending me.
I have a lot of non-Chris videos on this channel.
Is it?
Yeah. So I do want to tell you, I do not only do Chris stuff. The next video I'm putting out is actually on a completely different internet
Jesus
personality. It has
Christ.
nothing to do with Chris. I do hope you watch that, because if you're interested in this topic, you'll probably be interested in that.
There's
Thank you for
so
watching. You can follow me on Twitter for
Oh
more
my
updates at
God.
GIVI_Devin. And unfortunately, my Discord has been closed for the last week. I know that if I had opened it, I would have had just too many new people coming in to safely vet them. Hopefully, again, I'll be able to reopen that in a couple weeks, but for now, it's unfortunately closed.
Yeah, you guys keep sending me, like, this guy's stuff to watch. I can't... Dude, listen. I can't sit down and watch 2 hours of fucking disgusting... I've watched, like, a 5-minute video on somebody's top 10 rank list of what the most disturbing Christian moments, and it made me want to throw up. Like, this is pretty bad. I'd sit down with this guy and talk with him, but I don't want to watch a 2-hour long fucking video. But this shit's fucking insane, bro. This shit's fucking insane.